Truth is good.
Okay. Oh, everybody take a big breath. Depressing news. Okay, excuse me. The reading for today comes from an article titled "All New Ideas Are Old Ideas" on the website managementissues.com. Early humans observed the benefits of naturally occurring forest fires and learned to control it, perhaps 1.8 million years ago. By 5000 BC, the old idea of fire was added to fallen tree trunks to create a new idea, log canoes. Around 4000 BC in Mesopotamia, which is now Iraq, Syria, and Iran, the old idea of log canoes was added to flat potter's wheels and horses to create a new idea. You know what it is? The horse-drawn carriage. In 1672, Ferdinand Verbiest, a member of a Jesuit mission in China, added the old idea of carts to another old idea, steam power, to create a new idea, the first automobile, albeit a toy for the son of the emperor. And on July 20th, 1969, the old ideas of ships, fireworks, and science fiction were added together to enable the first landing on the, what? Moon. The difference in success between individual lives relies not on creating something from nothing, but in combining existing ideas and materials. At the best, this process meets existing needs and new ideas, or even creates new needs for old ideas. Understanding that everything new is made of something old, and seeing that what we enjoy is the result of new for old mashup allows us to do the same. Nature has mixed and remixed matter to arrive at our current universe. Mankind has mixed and remixed ideas to arrive at our current, global society. And it is to new combinations of old ideas that we must look for innovation to make our lives better.
Reflecting on, life is this big mix, and so I'm not sure why Sunday mornings should be any different. Okay. It is a mistake to think that the way you see the world is the way it really is. I'm not saying you're delusional. I'm not saying that your senses are betraying you. I'm saying that we all walk around with the illusion of objectivity. We can all look at the same painting, watch the same movie, read the same book, or witness the same event, and we'll have our unique impression and understanding that will be different between us. Now, sometimes what we sense finds agreement with those that we're close to and associate with. Sometimes what we sense is very, very different from other people's. And this difference in perceived realities can create conflict between us, trying to determine what really is. How we see the world is determined by our beliefs. What I've just said is a fairly recent social science finding from the research. Current social science research is showing that how we see the world is not determined by our experiences, but is predominantly driven by our beliefs. Dr. Jeremy Clifton and colleagues at the University of Pennsylvania, between 2014 and 2019, researched something that they ultimately called primal world beliefs. They published a paper in 2019 in a journal, and this publication posited that there are 26 primal world beliefs that people carry and hold. They surveyed thousands of Twitter posts and millions of words on all the social medias, and some questions revealing the primal world beliefs we hold that they did. Some of the questions that they began to ask is the world a safe or a dangerous place? Is it just or unjust? Is it fragile or stable? Is it interesting and engaging, or is it boring and mechanistic? Is the world acceptable or not? Is the world a playground or a battleground? Now, with all this research that they did, they grouped their findings into three major patterns of belief. One, is the world safe or dangerous? Second, is the world stable or chaotic? And third, is the world engaging or boring? These are the main reasons, these are the main beliefs that determine if people see the world that they're living in as either good or bad. What does this all mean? So you got a bunch of people, like a dozen people working this thing for 18 months trying to come up with the categories and things. What does this all mean? Well, the research is showing that our primal world beliefs determine our reality. Now, beliefs used to be considered the symptoms of experience, symptoms of our behavior. But now the proposition that the beliefs are actually the causes of our behavior. If you believe the world is a just place, you're inclined to have strong work ethics. You get what you pay for. It's a just world. You work hard, you get your rewards. You're driven to achieve goals. You see the world as progressing, and you believe that people get fair rewards if they're doing good work. If you believe the world is alive and engaging, you see that life is an interactive relationship with the universe. And that universe helps plans and reacts to us, talks to us, and the universe wants our participation and help. Now, most religious people have a primal world view that the world is alive and that we can change it and the world needs our help. If you don't see the world as alive and you tend to see the universe as a mindless machine with no plans or desires, you tend to not be as engaged. Any primal world belief you hold is not wrong. But the research does show that it influences the reality that you experience. In fact, these primal world beliefs can predict how happy or depressed we are, how trusting we are in relationships, and the decisions we make. Every person learns primal world beliefs as a child from their parents or whomever raised them. As our parents instructed and modeled onto us what they believed would help us, we incorporate those as our primal world beliefs. So what's your primal world beliefs? If you want to know, there's a survey that you can take online. It's pretty cool. Primal world beliefs. So from the 26 different beliefs, I've done it. I took it. It takes about 15 minutes. And if you want to take it, just Google Primal World Beliefs Summary. It's pretty cool. It kind of gives you some insight, and some of which you really don't want to know. I believe there are two broad categories of primal beliefs regarding religion. One is that religion is old, eternal, stable, certain amidst a very uncertain world, and hierarchical. The other belief is that the religion is new, it's evolving, it's progressive, it's worth exploring and examining and questioning, and it is far less hierarchical. Now, you may feel that Unitarian Universalism is the latter, new and evolving, but I say our denomination is a hybrid of both primal beliefs, both old and new. We hold almost sacred our history of being old, eternal in our mission. I mean, when people say like, oh, Unitarian Universalism, that's new, isn't it? I say, no, the Unitarians date right back to about a little after the Reformation. late 1500s. We hold that sacred, that oldness, and we offer the appearance of a hierarchical organizational structure. I've heard the Unitarian Universalist Association offices in Boston, where the headquarters are, I've heard that referred to as the liberal Vatican. Yet we also believe we are new, evolving, progressing, and value questions more than answers. But we continue to struggle with changes, acting like we are defined by the old. One method of explaining Unitarian Universalism to someone is that we show them the 7 principles. You can find it in the hymnals, in your bookmarks, on posters. It's who we say we are. But there are constant proposed changes to the 7 principles. In the past few years, there's been a huge movement of adding an 8th principle about, quote, journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by actions that dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. That's something new. And so far, about a fourth of Unitarian Universalist congregations have voted to accept and approve and incorporate that into their principles. A fourth of the UU congregations is like 250 churches. And they did that by congregational vote. But now, at this year's General Assembly to be held in Pittsburgh it's the beginning stages of replacing the 7 principles. There's also 6 core values that support that, but there's a proposal like, let's not have that anymore. 2020, a group of 8 recognized UU leaders have been studying, like, how do we update this? How do we make it better to reflect who we are? And it's in the bylaws, and there's a change to the bylaws in Article 2, if you're into this stuff. Article 2 holds, like, here's our 7 principles and 6 sources. The amendment proposes dropping the 7 principles and the 6 sources and replacing them with the values and covenant, and this really nice graphic of 6 values. And I've got some copies here if you want them. It's really interesting. It reflects another version. That's my 1-page summary, by the way. There's a lot more information about it. Now, at this June's General Assembly, if 50% of the delegates vote to proceed, this whole thing goes into a 6-month study. A year later, a General Assembly at 2024, it'll come up for a vote again. And if the vote is 2/3 or greater, it becomes incorporated into our bylaws. And the 7 principles and the 6 sources become old, part of our history. And values and covenant will become new and part of our future. This is a big proposal. And factions are well entrenched. I attended a nationwide UU workshop, Zoom meeting on this subject, and the reactions were all over the map. The reactions were like, wow, this is new, this is wonderful, to what the hell are you doing to my religion? What are you doing to my wonderful principles? How do you feel about leaving the 7 principles as part of our history? Likely, your emotions are strongly determined by your primal world view. Is the world stable or changing? Is there comfort in certainty or excitement in new perspectives? Is the world acceptable as is, or does it need improving? Our reading today suggests that all new ideas are made of old ideas. This is not saying that there's nothing new under the sun. It's saying that our progress is based on seeing new ideas built from old ones. Are the changes from leaving the 7 principles behind and seeing, is that seeing new in the old if we change the bylaws? Your answer, of course, is determined by your primal worldview, beliefs. Your beliefs are not wrong, they're yours, determined by your upbringing. But these beliefs can determine whether we lead a life of fear and dread or worry. Our primal world beliefs can determine whether we believe the world is delightful, a place that's beautiful, fascinating, safe, abundant, full of meaning, and getting better. See, I don't know about you, but I bounce back and forth across this belief spectrum. Sometimes during the day, different times of the day, I'll bounce back. This is exhausting. Sometimes I love seeing the blooming flowers in my yard, and sometimes all I see is weeds. Sometimes I just admire the clouds floating by, and sometimes I step in dog shit that I forgot to pick up. The good news is that the ongoing research says that we can shift our primal world beliefs if they're not serving us well. I'll give you a list of how to begin to shift your primal worldview if it's not serving you the way you would like. And this list looks incredibly like so many other lists to enhance your life, to improve your existence. And the challenge in this list and all the other lists is to practice the behaviors religiously, consistently. And likely you've heard all these before, but they're worth repeating. You want to shift your primal world belief? Increase your attention. Pay attention, be aware, sense the world. Try and be as objective as you can. Don't predetermine when you read an email saying like, oh, this person's really upset. Maybe they're not. Be neutral, be aware. Give yourself grace. It's okay to be imperfect. This can be a primal world belief, like I'm not worthy. Number 3, practice gratitude. Gratitude journal, gratitude at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day. Practice gratitude. It can reorient your views. And last, look for what you want to see, not what you have learned to expect. You can begin to want to see beauty. You can begin to train yourself to see, yeah, that's a terrible situation, but it can come with practice. This last one, look for what you want to see, not what you have learned to expect to see. This is really easy to understand. It's extremely difficult to consistently practice. It's a mistake to think that the way you see the world is the way it really is. Now, you can blame how you see the world on your parents, but you shouldn't stop there. You can shift how you perceive the world and shake off those detrimental beliefs that are holding you back on your spiritual journey. All it takes is time, patience, repetition, and persistence. And I strongly suggest do not do this alone. Stay in community. And maybe we can change the world by changing ourselves together. Amen, and blessed be.